Hey, it's Pastor Wordell. I had a chance earlier this year to sit down with Mr. Lloyd Hoeffner, one of our members here at Mount Olive Lutheran Church, and talk to him about his experience with prison ministry, specifically how the Bible affects prison ministry. Lloyd passed away and went to be with Jesus last week, but I've recorded this interview so that we might learn from his experience even as he now worships Jesus in heaven. Hope you enjoy. Actually, first, you just want to introduce yourself?
I'm Lloyd Hoeffner. I'm one of those old codgers that the biggest problem that's facing me in the next 10 years will be the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings.
You have talked with me a long time about the work you did with prisons.
Yeah, I've been going to the jails, really.
Jails.
This would be my 29th year in the jails. But I haven't been going there lately because of too far to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Too far to walk. But the prisons, I got going after my wife died. She died in 2004, died in March, and I started in the prisons in September of that year. And I have gone to the Oshkosh Correctional, which is the big one on 41. I've gone to the Wisconsin Correctional, which is the minimum security on Lake Winnebago. I've gone to DAC, which is the Drug and Alcohol Counseling Center. I've gone to Winnebago Mental Health for a fellow one time. I've gone to the big prison up in Green Bay, but I don't go there anymore either because there's too many steps to walk and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And I've also gone to the Kettle Moraine prison. In addition to that, I've gone to Outagamie County Jail and Wapaka County Jail for a while. And that keeps you humping pretty good.
Sounds like.
Really good. But
So give me a sense of like when you go into one of those facilities, and then you meet with the people who are inmates there. What do you do? What do you start with? How do you start your course?
Well, it depends. Sometimes, actually, it was never really a Bible class. I never looked upon it as a Bible class. I looked upon it as a Bible-based support group, because most of these inmates are either drug addicts or alcohol addicts, or very, very. I've had a murder or two, but most of them are the drug addicts, alcohol-based problems, and it depends on if you're starting a brand new class or not. Usually it is, if you're starting a brand new class, what you do is, there's usually one or two people who are very vocal. I dare you to teach me anything,
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason I'm in here is because that cop that was on the corner, or the PO officer, I wouldn't be in here if it weren't for them. But the minute they take ownership of it, then you can start. The minute they take ownership of their misdeed, whatever it might be, they'll surprise you at times. Really surprise you. Every April is volunteer month, and all these places put on a little program for their volunteers and so forth. They brought in just one place, they brought in their prison choir, and could these guys sing? Oh, they could sing. And it was led by an inmate. And and he had to have professional training. That's all there's to it. But they were very, very good. And one of the songs they sang was Amazing Grace. But between each verse of Amazing Grace, they sang another tune, and the words were the crimes that these individuals committed.
Really?
And then they'd go back to Amazing Grace. And you talk about powerful.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, it was just absolutely powerful. And that song will never be the same for me. They mentioned names. You know, Fred did fraud. And I remember Alex had problems with childhood sex. And you know, it's just stuff like this. And they'd raise their hand and they just took ownership of it.
Sure.
And then they went to Amazing Grace. And it's at that point where they take ownership that you can really start to work with them. And one of the easiest ways, normally these guys have, I don't see why you guys put so much in that Bible. That was written so long ago, it has no meaning today, today's. But at that point then, you have them read some of the selected Proverbs, and you got to make them read it.
So you don't read it to them?
No, I don't read it to them. They got to read it. And, okay, let's stop now. Now let's put this in today's language. Well, how would you translate that into today's language? Holy man!
Their eyes open up, huh?
It's something to behold.
So then they get the point. They get why you.
Yeah, they get the point. You don't have to say a word. One other time, it was 5 degrees below zero, and I got there early. The guys came walking in, and the guys, they elect a chairman each month. I let them run the meeting, and they can talk about anything they want to talk about. We'll look it up in Scripture, and then we'll discuss it. Well, one day, 5 below zero, and the chairman says, "Okay, guys, what are we going to talk about tonight?" One guy raised his hand, and he said, I'm new here. I got transferred in here about 2 weeks ago. I'm not new to the system, but I'm new here. But there's a guy that's stalking me and following me around wherever I go. What should I do? Should I deck him?
Should I deck him?
No. First thing you do is you pray. And you'll get your answer. But it won't be on your timelines. And it won't even be what you asked for. It'll be better. And if you decide to go against what the good Lord tells you, when you get your answer, I would suggest you start reading the book of Jonah.
These guys knew their stuff.
They knew their stuff. And they said, and another guy said, and if you want to change your life around, turn it to be positive, I suggest you start reading the book of James. Man, we're onto something. And I didn't have to say a word that day. That was it. They'll help you out.
That's awesome. They had thought about it, and they had thought about what you'd studied, and they had made it their own.
One other time, it was the end of May, beginning of June, and the guy, chairman for June, was doing a little pre-planning, and he said, "Hey Lloyd, you're going to be here all June." I said, "No, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks." "Oh, where are you going?" "I'm going to Germany." "Oh? Yeah. Is that on a tour?" I said, "Yeah." "What kind of tour is that?" I said, "Well, I found a church and a pastor down in Milwaukee that's leading a Lutherland tour." And Pastor, I no sooner had that out of my mouth. One guy got up and said, "Didn't I tell you guys? He's one of Marty's boys. What do you say? Dumb. Founded.
Yeah, dumbfounded. One of Marty's boys.
One of Marty's boys.
Yeah. So has this changed the way you look at prisoners?
Oh yeah. It's interesting to see these guys. I don't care how hardened they are. And I've had some pretty hardened criminals. But they all got a soft spot in their heart for something. And if you find that, they are like a bowl of jello. You can work with them. And 9 times out of 10, their soft spot is their children. Up until about 15, 16, 17, maybe 18 years old. And then if they're still living, it's their parents.
Oh, okay.
It's really an interesting study.
Has it changed the way or affected the way you look at the Bible?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? How so?
Well, I had a little bit of this written so long ago type thing.
That it's so old it couldn't be relevant or something? Yeah.
And the other thing is, I got a hold of a chronological Bible. And that has solidified a lot of fuzzy parts.
Sure.
That has done a wonderful thing for me. It really has. But it's interesting.
Well, thanks, Lloyd.
Well, well, thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.